Issam, it was a really interesting discussion. Just so our audience knows, because I'm not sure everybody is tuned in on this, tell them what EC is and why it's important.
Yeah, so EC, it's the electrical conductivity. It's the measure that reflects the amount or the concentration of nutrients in a sample or at the root zone, depending how you're reading it, from which sample you're starting. So the EC is in simple words, it's just the concentration of nutrients you're giving to the plant or at the root zone, and that has a direct impact on the osmotic pressure at the root zone, and the osmotic pressure has a direct correlation with water absorbance and water movement within the plant, and so obviously a direct impact on the growth, on the yield, and the other point, as I mentioned earlier, is with our uh, goal to maximize the water stress to obtain more cannabinoids and terpenes. That comes with some secondary effects, like the huge drybacks we are aiming for. They result in higher ECs, which means building salts building within the root zone. So that's why we have to use balanced recipes and make sure that all what we are delivering to the plant is uptaken and not just building within the root zone.
Yeah,
Hope I answered
excellent.
the question.
That's great. I mean, as a chemist and as a scientist, I love this connection, right? Because certainly, like if you think about, you think about electrical conductivity in plants or in soil. What the hell, that's like some electrical measurement that you should be making on a phone or a device or something, right? It doesn't necessarily compute with some people on why electrical conductivity is important in living systems, but I think you explained it beautifully.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know
We do have we do have these at the beginning where we just started. We were using the runoff, and then with some probes we do the EC readings in the runoff. But as Marcus mentioned, sometimes we have these high values of EC in the runoff. But at the end, we started using some probes to read the EC within the root zone, and we found that there is a gap. So the reference of using the in rockwool, and I know in soil with the pour through method it works. In soil, you should look at the runoff. In cocoa as well, but in rockwool, I think it's better to make it's more accurate to make the readings at the root zone to make better decisions.
Super
and
interesting.
it's not specific for any one salt, right? It just basically gives you an overall level of how much ionic material you have down there, right? So it's not specific for like a
Exactly.
nitrate or a sulfate or anything like that, right?
That's the leaf analysis. So the EC will give you just how spicy you are in your recipe at the root zone, but it's the leaf analysis that will give you in details how much nitrogen you have, how much calcium, magnesium, and it's in there.